you've always got plenty of words coming out of that mouth as well. So. But yes, I am quite impressed with it. I mean, I've watched one or two of the podcasts, and
thank you.
I thought, yeah, it looks very, very.
And to all the viewers out there that are watching our podcast and watching our content and the content that we're making, if you could like, subscribe, and leave a comment, it costs you nothing, but it helps us support and grow as a channel. So if you can like, subscribe, and leave a comment, it much appreciated.
Cypher Films is an independent production company based in Enfield, London, UK. We produce documentaries, short feature films, social media videos, and provide photography studio space for weddings, christenings, and corporate videos.
Welcome to another episode of True Podcasts with me, Paul Candlin. Now, before we get into our podcast today, let me allow you to give thanks to Jesus Christ, our one and only Saviour, my one and only Saviour. I thank him for mercy, and grace. And also thank you to Cypher Films for giving us this studio and allowing me to make a success of this platform. Now, our next guest today is a guest from the film industry, to people of the film industry and the SAs alike. This will be a name that you do know. He's also a personal friend of mine. So let me start the podcast and bring in Mr. Grant Crookes.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks for coming on, Mr. Grant.
Yeah, thank
you. How are we doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Before we start the podcast, how are we doing? How are you?
Yeah, good. Still quite busy with the. Obviously, I now run an acting agency as well. For SAs and actors.
Yeah, we'll get that.
So I'm quite busy at the moment.
How's your day been today? How was your journey into the studio?
Yeah, good. Yeah, straightforward.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know when MK said about the studio, and I was like, I've got to go come and see this. When he showed me the studio, and I remember you talking about earlier on.
Yeah.
I was like, do you know, certain aspects in your life, you just got to go with it, no matter how out of the depth you are and how outside the box it is. Mm-hmm. You've just got to go with it and make it a success.
Yeah.
And that's what MK did for us, built the studio. And yeah, it's up to me now to book the guests, ask the right questions, and make a success of...
I'm sure you'll do that, Paul.
You got more faith than me.
Yeah, you've always got plenty of words coming out of that mouth as well. So. But yes, I am quite impressed with it. I mean, I've watched one or two of the podcasts, and
thank you.
I thought, yeah, it looks very, very.
And to all the viewers out there that are watching our podcast and watching our content and the content that we're making, if you could like, subscribe, and leave a comment, it costs you nothing, but it helps us support and grow as a channel. So if you can like, subscribe, and leave a comment, it much appreciated. So yeah, this is Grant Crookes. So if we can take you all back to Grant, where you grew up, and tell us how life began for you.
Where I grew up is in a small market town of Penistone, which is under a Sheffield postcode, but probably nearer to Barnsley than anywhere else. I have two sisters, and I moved to Durham in the early 80s due to my father's job. So I lived there for many years. I've had a little stint in Blackpool. I've had a 7-year stint in Leeds. And now I'm actually in Cambridgeshire.
So you've really been all over the place, really?
Yeah. I'm the one who's done all the travelling, yeah.
So where did you go? So you grew up in Yorkshire, is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
Was it Rotherham?
No, Penistone, yeah.
Penistone.
I support Rotherham, the football club, but I've never actually lived in Rotherham. But yeah, Yorkshire born and Yorkshire bred. Yeah.
What was it like growing up in Penistone?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, good. It was all like close-knit communities. You know, it's better than, I suppose, in my opinion, than growing up in a city. Some people will argue about that, but, you know, that's just my opinion. You know, you get to know everybody then, don't you? You know,
I grew up in a small town, much like what you were describing.
Yeah.
And all I remember is being really safe safe to grow up, safe to play.
Yeah, and you used to have the
Safety.
village bobby, didn't you? You know.
Yeah,
Oh,
give
you
you a
used to be
clap
really
around the head if you was misbehaving. Your mum and dad would say that policeman's going to come and take you away.
Yeah, but now people's got no respect for police now, have they?
Couldn't
you know?
care less.
So, yeah.
So what did you do? Earning a pound note and earning a living. What was you doing growing up?
Well, I've always been, I've always really worked in factories, but I've never been settled at being like, shall we say, bottom of the food chain. I've always tried to better myself the best I can. So I started off at a coal and coke factory, James Durrans and Sons, where my father worked, and I ended up being a supervisor, and then later on in years, I ended up being the assistant works manager. I was there 18 years. And then I moved down to Leeds, worked in a gatehouse at a glass bottle manufacturing factory. Went from the gatehouse to like a shift supervisor role in the painting and decorating of the glass. That's the department what paints the colours of the bottles, etc. Because it's not always... A lot of people think a green bottle is green glass, but it's not necessarily. It could be painted green, you know. So,
okay.
And I've been a van hire manager. I've been a duty security manager at a big shopping centre. I had my own team under me, and I've also just been a duty manager at a residential supported living.
So there's quite a lot of diversity there.
Yeah.
Diversity over different ranges of earning a living and different levels of management and stuff like that. So when did you discover TV? When did TV discover you?
Well, it's something I've always wanted to get into, and when I was a young lad, because I'm a dinosaur, it was unheard of. Really, it was like a closed book. You know, nobody knew how to get involved with TV and film,
especially before the internet.
Of course, yeah. But now it's a lot more open, widely open, and there's more people getting involved with it now. So,
do you think that's a good or a bad thing?
Bad.
Yeah, I do as well.
I think it's bad because you're getting a diverse amount of people, but you're not getting the professionalism like you used
Quality.
to. Yeah. I started 15 years ago, and when I started 15 years ago, there was more opportunity for the individual, but because it's probably gone tenfold of the amount of people who's in it now, and the agencies what's involved in it now. It's
much like the TV industry itself. I mean, a lot of it's all subscriptions now, and that's where the money is.
Well, that's it.
to make money.
That's
it's
it.
not actually in the programs themselves. It's a subscription. Look at ITV, Amazon, Apple, Disney, and so on and so on and so on. I mean, if you were to subscribe to all that, it would be costing you an absolute fortune. Hundreds of pounds a month.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And half the quality of programs, because they're pumping them out so much, has gone really. I mean, if you look at the quality of programs that were in the 90s, especially when I used to, I mean, you had, especially for Saturday and the weekend, you had Gladiators, you had good quiz shows like You Bet and the Generation Games, proper family orientated quiz shows. And you haven't got that now. You haven't got it.
You haven't? No.
I mean, what's the closest you've got to that
it?
is what I'm a celebrity, get me out of here with that jungle bollocks. But I wasn't going to swear, so that's going out the fucking window. But TV just seems to be either propaganda or just really piss poor TV, and that they're just churning out just for the sake of people paying a subscription.
Well, that's what it's about. It's all a money game, isn't it?
So what was it like when you first started out as an SA?
Well, when I first started, it was quite easy to get a job. Like I say, there wasn't as many people involved. There wasn't as many agencies, but there were more work than enough for the amount of people who was in the industry. So,
do you reckon there was more work than there is now, or is it the same? But there's more people?
I think there's probably as much work, if not more, now. But everyone's jumped on the bandwagon, you see. Everybody thinks, oh, yeah, I'll go and earn a little crust, or I'm going to be famous overnight. I'm going to end up on TV. But as you and I know, it doesn't work like that.
No,
you've got to work damn hard at it. And I know you're the same as me. I mean, I was doing 40,000 miles a year, travelling length and breadth of the UK.
Was you doing that when you first started? Was the mileage still the same?
Yeah, it was, yes, yeah, because the work wasn't necessarily on your doorstep, but and obviously staying away from your family, and it's.
Well, a bit further on into the podcast, we're going to talk about the mileage a bit more but in a different sort of aspect. But when you first started, like you said, the work was there. Would that realistically say that you was more realistic of making a full-time living as an extra back then more than now?
Cypher Films is an independent production company based in Enfield, London, UK. We produce documentaries, short feature films, social media videos, and provide photography studio space for weddings, christenings, and corporate videos.
I would say it's not really doable unless I signed up with a lot of agencies. And a lot of people said to me, how do you make it work full time? And I say to them, I was living up in Durham at the time, travelling to London at silly o'clock in the morning.
Mad.
And I used to say to people, the reason why I'm busy is because I'm doing...
You're willing to put the legwork in?
I'm doing what you aren't willing to do. If you're willing to do what I do, you would be as busy. But I was with 15 agencies, say, getting up at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, travelling down to London for a full day's film. As you know yourself, it can be 12, 14 hours, and travelling all the way back to Durham, 22-hour days.
Yeah, with travel hours, depending on how kind the M1 and the M6 want to be to you. It could be a 16, 18-hour day.
Yeah.
Now, if you're willing to do the 18 hours and the cold days, and sometimes you won't even get used, sometimes you will get used and not sit down all day. If you can do all that crap and still have the passion to do it, then you're with half a chance. That's what I've always said.
Yeah.
You can stomach all that.
Well, that's it. And I mean,
still find the passion to go on, get up the following day and do it all again.
Yeah.
And all again. Then you're halfway there.
That's right. And I mean, then the better roles start coming to you. When people see how professional you are, and you get to know the people behind the camera. It's surprising what can happen. I mean, I've had a few good acting roles in TV and film. Yes, first and foremost, I've been an SA, but I've had some good acting parts and characters. I played PC Framp in Agatha Raisin, and people who don't know Agatha Raisin, it's a comedy with Ashley Jensen.
I would say it's more like a comic.
Yeah, comedy. But yeah, I've had some really good jobs. And I mean, even the smaller jobs, as a supporting actor, I've been on some really, really big name films like Star Wars, Batman, Wonder Woman, Mission Impossible. So it's good to be amongst that, because you're amongst the film crews, you're amongst the A-listers, and
you're there, aren't you?
It's
you're
interesting.
There doing it. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Well, the reason I opened with the podcast about who you are and your background and the way you grew up, the diversity of jobs that you've had, you've always had the level of management jobs, and that's purely because the person you are. I mean, when I first met you, which was 2019, 18,
yes,
18,
like
19.
That,
You opened up a lot of doors. Obviously, I had to walk through them, but you opened up a lot of doors. And the reason you could open up a lot of doors because of the person that you are. You're professional. You conduct yourself in a professional manner. You do everything that's asked of you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like to think I do.
Well, you do, and that's why you got the roles that you did, and that's why you was on as many agencies as what you were, because people saw you for who you was. Mm-hmm. And it's not all about the job you do; it's about the person you invest in. You're going to be the face of whatever agency you're going out to represent. Right.
And I wasn't, like I said, Paul, with all my other jobs I've had in the past, I was never happy to stay at the bottom of the tree, which I wasn't with the SA world of TV and film. Yeah, I started at the bottom.
But we've all got to start there.
But I've tried to work my way up the ladder. I've never got to the top to achieve the. I'm never going to be a famous person, but I think in the industry I'm quite well known, as you know. A lot of people know me, even if it's just people who are in the industry. A lot of people seem to know my name.
I was going to say, for me, you was a good name to drop because everyone knew who you was. Yeah, especially within the industry, and like I say, that helped open a lot of doors. I had to walk through them. And I always remember you just say, just conduct yourself in a professional manner, which I like to think I do so mostly. Obviously, my fucking mouth gets me into trouble a lot, but That's either here or buy. But there was a time where you actually lived with me, and you was helping me, guiding me, and we've become pretty close.
Yeah.
And it's good to see you now taking that extra step on to be an agent. But before we get to the agent bit in the podcast, let's take you back to the SA world and to all the newbies that are going to be starting, because there's always an influx of newbies to the industry that wouldn't necessarily know what to do or where to go, or they've got all these aspirations, like you say, of being famous and becoming an actor. And a lot of people look down on SA work, and I get why. I understand it, but like you said, it's a gateway into the industry. You don't necessarily have to stay at SA. You could be an AD, you could go into a runner, you could go into costume, go into anything. But it's a gateway to foot in the door, if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah.
So what would your advice to be to anyone that's actually looking to get into acting? Would you recommend the SA route, or would you go for the acting schools where obviously you're going to pay a lot more and not necessarily get the work you're looking for?
I think really, if you want to be serious at acting, I think you do have to go to drama school, and then obviously get an acting agent, get your degree at university. You don't have to do it that way. You can do it same as I've done, same as you've done. Start off at the bottom as an essay, but I do think it is a lot harder doing it from there.
In what aspect?
Because I don't think directors, ADs, casting directors...
Is it the stigma that comes along with the SA
and I don't think people look at you the same. I don't think... Well, they think, well, you've not been to drama school, so they can't actually know as much as somebody who has, which we know is not always the right answer. I mean, look at people who are very intelligent. Some people's intelligent, not with going to university. It's just that they're born like that,
well, a lot of people have got that sort of intelligence. Like, there's a guy called Matt Hardy. He's a Blade Runner against ULEZ, and the guy was intelligent, very intelligent. His depths of intelligence went very, very deep.
Yeah.
Left me standing in some subjects, which isn't too fucking hard, to be honest. But but he left me standing, and sometimes it's just good to let someone talk. Do you know what I mean? Because what you can get from listening.
Cypher Films is an independent production company based in Enfield, London, UK. We produce documentaries, short feature films, social media videos, and provide photography studio space for weddings, christenings, and corporate videos.
Listening to someone with that sort of knowledge, you could normally miss.
Yeah.
Which is why I asked you the question, because when my career started for me personally at Fantastic Beast level, it was just being at the right place at the right time, and I was given the chance. If you can do it, you can do it. If not, go back to your day job. So for me personally, it'd be wrong for me to say to someone, "Don't do the SA because it worked for me."
Yeah.
But I need to stress to the people that 99% of the time, it's probably not going to fucking work for you. I was just right place at the right time.
I mean, look at the A-listers who started right at the bottom as an SA stroke extra, whatever you want to call it.
And they're still A-lister now.
George Clooney, Brad Pitt, to name a couple.
There was John Wayne, Clint Eastwood.
Yeah,
they
all started off at the bottom.
That was all behind the camera.
They never went to drama school, So
how the fuck?
So for people out there, it is a possibility. I just think it's an harder route, shall we say? I think an easier route in or an easier door to open is going down the drama university degree.
The only thing I've got with that though is it costs a hell of a lot of money to do, and I don't know if everyone's got that luxury, especially nowadays with the cost of living and everything else that goes with it. And yet they still want to dream. They still want to have aspirations of even just making set in whatever aspects. And a lot of people say to me, "I'll do it for nothing." Well, no, please don't do it for nothing. No one works for nothing. But I would always say, to find out if it is something you want to do, then start as an SA.
Yeah. Doing it for nothing damages the industry. You can't do it for nothing. There's a lot of people out there who take it seriously, who do it professionally for a full-time job. Not that many, but there's some people who do. And then there's other people who do it to top the money up, from
All retired people.
In the essay industry, So people do take it seriously. I mean, don't go on set and think I'm going to be a Brad Pitt in a day and, I'll do it for nothing just because I might be seen for 2 seconds on TV, because it doesn't work like that,
So let's just say I was a inexperienced essay and I've come to you and go, Mr. Grant, I need some advice. I want to be the next famous actor on TV. I'm going to sign up to some agencies. What's the best thing I can do when I get onto set? What's the best thing that I can do?
When you go to set?
Yeah. What's the best to impress anybody? What am I going to...
Well, you've got to get there early. Don't ask too many questions. Don't turn up half asleep, Make sure you've got all your kit you need, what they've asked for in the costume department, if that's required, because some productions supply your costume. But if not, make sure you turn up with the right gear, and be ready. Be ready. Don't take things for granted. Just make sure you listen, and when the AD calls for you, it's your time to go to set or travel to set. Make sure you're there ready, not missing or gone to your car or nip to the toilet or just wait for your instructions.
So really, do everything that I don't do. So everything that I do, just do the opposite.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Mr. Paul. Yeah.
Because the reason that I asked that question is obviously early on in the podcast, you mentioned that you had some high-profile roles, such as PC Framp in Adiga Raisin. You've done a lot in Vera.
Yeah.
You've had some appearances on Batman and Mission Impossible, along with Star Wars as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only reason you get these roles is because you do exactly what you've just said. You be punctual.
Yeah, I think you've got to set a good example. It's like in any job, innit? In any job in the country, if you set a good example and you do the job to the best of your knowledge, you're probably going to come out on top, aren't you? You're not, it's no good being not punctual, not professional. You're turning up late, because people's not going to give you a time of day. If they can see, Grant Crookes, he turns up on time. He's half an hour early. He listens to what we tell him.
Except when I'm driving.
Yeah, well, except for when you're driving, yeah.
I mean, the reason I laugh like that is because I've been, especially through COVID, when you had to be in this fucking COVID bubble, we were living together, so we had that there, and it got us a lot of work, to be honest. But I was very lucky because a lot of people know you, so I was just a +1 at best.
Yeah.
Then so I was getting through the doors that way, and I saw how much respect ADs had for how bookers were fighting over you, because I used to see at home, and you're very proactive on the phone, always on the phone, answering emails and inquiries and availability requests, and also, I may add, he was answering questions by fellow essays that know Grant and wanted his advice, and he would always take time out of everything else he had to do. You would always take time and help people, which I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, but I'm a believer, Paul, in helping people. In any walks of life.
But it's very, very cutthroat in this industry.
Yeah, it is. But I
people can't wait to shit on you, which I found really.
Yeah, you're right. You're right in one respect.
So when I was to see that, I thought it was fresh air, to be honest.
Yeah, but you're right in what you say. But not everybody's like that, and I like to think the people I help would help me if I was in need of help.
So that's what I try to do. I try to lead from your example. Yeah. Really. I know you don't think I listen, but I do listen, and I do pay attention. And when I do put it into play, it's things like being punctual, especially now. I mean, I could never think of being late again. Being punctual, being on the ball, because that's what they want, people on the ball. Yeah. And obviously do the job in question. Yeah. Be able to deliver character or deliver lines, and that's exactly what you've done.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Paul. Anybody can be late, because if it's a
Yeah,
crash
but
on
you
the
don't be late
motorway.
because you fucking overslept. Or
Well,
something
exactly.
Like that,
But
you know what I mean?
if they crash on the motorway and they close the motorway down, it can happen. I understand it can happen. But they tend to know the people who's late all the time. You know, there's certain people who would turn up late because they won't just think, well, what's the point in just hanging around for half an hour at the beginning? But people do that, you know. And people that sometimes are genuinely poorly as well, you know. I know a lot of people do pull the wool over agents' eyes, saying, oh, yeah, I'm poorly and, oh, I've got an appointment at a last-minute
But
appointment.
that's not where they fucking double book themselves, that is.
Exactly, exactly. But it doesn't wash with me, you see, because I see it on both sides now since opening the agency up in 2023, June 2023. I see it both sides now. I see both sides of the barrel. Yeah.
Well, like we've touched on the agency, so we might as well go with it now. So MPG is the name of Grant Crookes' agency, but it's not just you, is it? There's two other people that are also well known in the film industry, and that's Paul Sultana and Michael Barlow.
Yep.
To be honest, three amigos, because you know you've all been there, you've all done it, you've all been in the circuit for X amount of years.
Well, I think together, I think we've been in the industry over 50 years between the three of us.
There you go.
Paul's gone more down the acting route. However, I approached Paul about 4 to 5 years ago because I thought it would be a good addition to be a partner for MPG Casting. I toyed with the idea for about 4 years, thinking, shall I do it? Am I going to do the right thing?
I thought it was the next step for you, to be honest.
Yeah, well, a lot of SAs and actors have said to me, you know, you should do it. You'll be great. You've got all the contacts. But sometimes things hold you back a little bit, don't they? Excuse me. Because I like to, I enjoyed filming. So I took the dive and I approached Paul and I said, yeah, let's give it a go. Because if you don't do it, you're never going to know if it's going to be successful or not.
This for me.
And then Michael Barlow, he's quite good. He puts the website together and he's quite good technically. Excuse me, which I'm not. So Michael came on board, he put the website together and he's quite good on computers. I'm absolutely useless.
Likewise. I've had this laptop for about 3 months. I've not even switched it on.
You haven't even opened it up yet.
I'm just going to get fucking MK to show me how to do it.
But I probably have the contacts, you know. I think probably virtually all the work we've had at the moment is off my contacts. So yeah, with MPG Casting, we've been going since June 23. We start with 1,000 people on our books, but we've had to change platforms. So we're now on the Entertainment Partners platform, and we've got a book of probably 10,000 people. We've been trickling over, you know. Obviously, success doesn't happen overnight, as we all know.
Amen. Yeah.
And we just want to keep growing and growing and growing.
Cypher Films is an independent production company based in Enfield, London, UK. We produce documentaries, short feature films, social media videos, and provide photography studio space for weddings, christenings, and corporate videos.
I think the key to that is just hanging on in there and just
Rome wasn't built in a day, was it?
Yeah. Just keep hanging on there. Have faith in doing what you're doing. Don't let anyone tell you any different, and just keep chipping away.
Yeah,
that's all we can do.
Yeah, and we also like to try and be personal to all our SAs, actors. You know, we try and keep them in the loop the best we can. If they want any discussions regarding pay or call times, as soon as we get to know any information, we will tell them. I don't agree, and Michael and Paul either. I don't agree in holding any information away from the SAs.
Brilliant.
The only thing obviously we can't do is sometimes a production we're on, we may know the name of the production, but we can't.
But
for the NDA reasons,
yeah.
we might have to give them a working title. But everything else, I want to be open and honest with everybody.
That's brilliant, because you mentioned briefly before that you miss acting, you miss performing in front of camera. Since you've opened the agency, is that because everyone now sees you as competition, so you don't get as much work through the agents that would necessarily get you the work before we opened MPG?
I think that's correct, yeah. But I think also if you go to set and an AD sees you, I'll be thinking, what's he doing here? He's got his
Has he got other alternatives?
Yeah. However, just last week I have done a reconstruction with Channel 5 and Paramount TV, and I finished it off Thursday this week. I'm playing the father to a young boy who went missing in 1982. So I am keeping my feet in a little bit.
What was it like getting back in front of the camera?
Yeah, it's just second nature, really, isn't it? It's like riding a bike. You never forget, do you?
But it's nice. It's nice. You don't realise how much you miss it until you're not there.
Yeah, I don't think you could ever retire from it. That's why.
Okay.
That's why you've got people like your Judi Dench's at 89-year-old.
Just keep going back in and out.
They just keep doing it. I don't think they can ever retire. I think it's not. Obviously, it's not. They're not money motivated. It's just the love for it, the love for the industry.
Hey man, I mean, I've just finished a big, huge production in Wales, and an A-lister, I won't say who he is, has just recently come out of retirement to do this movie, and just to share a chat with them and just chilling in between takes in some wonderful surroundings, especially where we've been up in Anglesey and north of Wales. It's been brilliant. Fucking sick of Wales now at the moment. But nothing to do over weekend. Everywhere closes around about 8 o'clock, and
they speak foreign, don't they?
And there's zip all to do. There's absolutely nothing to do.
They speak a different language.
It's been a secret, yeah. But it's been a great little run, to be honest, over a quiet year, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, the avalanche of work that was meant to have come in after the strikes that never came. I think that woke everyone up, whether you're crew or cast, or anywhere in between. I think it was a big wake-up call, not only to people in the industry, but to everyone as a whole. It's not always going to be there.
No.
So what are you going to do when it's not? Yeah. What's your fallback plan? And obviously you've got MPG now.
Yep.
Like you've just said, you can dip in and out of acting throughout your life, and when the chances arise. But I mean, I'm going to put myself in this boat as well. We've also got a different aspect of this this government and what they're implementing in paper mile. Now, this paper mile, I don't know if you've come across it yet. They're looking at around
I have seen it vaguely.
12 and 15p per mile now. People are at breaking point anyway, and the people who are struggling to try and make this living work, I reckon that's probably going to be the final nail in the coffin. Have you tried to give that any thought on how that's going to affect business for MPG? And
I haven't given it any thought as yet, for the simple reason I don't really get involved in politics or religion. It's not something I do.
No, but when it's going to start affecting how you earn money.
Yeah, I mean, if push come to shove and it was so bad, Paul, I think that might be the time. I say it's time to retire, eventually. Yeah. I mean, as you know, my partner and I has just purchased a 7.4 metre motorhome. So our plan is now to probably start touring the UK and Europe in it, with the Great Dane, Harry. And the good thing about having your own business is you can work from home, or shall I say work from the motorhome. So I could be in Slovenia and still. I mean,
I just hope this paper mile doesn't come in, but
so that wouldn't. I mean, it wouldn't affect me, but
good.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to see. It's one of those.
Cross that bridge when we come to it.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I mean, there's talk of AI, which again, it's going to damage the industry, isn't it?
A whole lot of things that are churning, going around in this whirlpool, and you think,
what about electric cars? Apparently, 2030, they're not going to produce any more diesel petrol cars.
I can't see that, to be honest. We haven't got the infrastructure for that.
Well, it says they're not going to manufacture anymore. So, I mean, people who's already got them might still have them for 10, 15 years after that. But, it's just one of those, cross that bridge, isn't it? We'll see. We'll see what happens, basically.
Because before the TV career took off for yourself, you also were dibbling in a bit of football. You was a football manager. Is that right?
That was during my TV.
Oh, was that during? Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I thought that was just before. But
when I was younger, I mean, I did go to when they were professional. I mean, they are professional, but I Hartlepool United, I went there at a trial. I stopped there a while, and then Darlington the same. They're both non-league teams now, unfortunately.
Really?
But then I got involved in the semi-professional game. I ended up being a coach, and then for Bridlington Town and AFC Emley, who took West Ham United to a third-round FA Cup game.
Yeah, I remember that.
They only lost 2-1. Rio Ferdinand scored and John Hartson. Then I ended up doing my coaching badges. I did my level 1 and my level 2. Contemplated doing my UEFA B, but then I thought, nah, I'm not going to bother. I ended up being a manager of Chester Street Football Club up in the northeast. And yeah, so I've worked with some big names in football as well. Neil Redfern, he's played about 800 Football League games. I was assistant manager at Emley and Eccleshill United to Ian Banks. He played nearly 600 Football League games. Whose son, incidentally, is a professional footballer, Holly Banks, who's at Chesterfield at the moment.
Okay, yeah.
So I was well into that, but again, I had to travel up and down the country to.
So no matter what you've been doing, you've always been travelling, haven't you?
I've always been travelling, yeah. And when it's semi-professionally, you travel on the day. So when you've got a cup game, we could be travelling from Bridlington all the way down to Shepshed, which is in Leicestershire.
I did it for Tamworth, yeah.
Playing on a night match, a cup match. Goes to extra time, then penalties.
Back at work the following day.
Exactly. The guys didn't get home till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Then you have to get up for the work the next day. These professionals have got it so easy, haven't they?
I mean, I think, much like the boxing world, it's ruined. Money's ruined it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you start paying £100 million for fucking Jack Grealish, and no one's asking any questions, how
can you justify it?
Yeah, it's got to be like glorified money laundering. Really, that's what it is.
You can't blame the individual, Paul. The football.
Well, you can't blame the players. You got to blame the game.
No, because
really.
I mean, somebody like Jack Grealish is not going to say to his manager, "Oh, only give me 100 grand this week. Don't give me 300 grand this week." But when you put it into perspective, I mean, look at doctors, nurses. My son, for example, who was in the Marines.
Yeah,
he probably earns. I don't know. He'll probably kill me for saying this. He probably earns 30 grand maximum. But they're putting their life on the.
I was going to say, look at the job he does.
Yeah, 400 people make that out of 26,000 applicants a year.
How many?
They're the 26,000 applicants, and the 400 make it in the Marines 400 per year. That's the job he does. People like those are the ones who deserve the big pay rises.
See, on them odds, it's harder to be a Marine than it is to be an actor.
Well, yeah, it's probably harder to be a professional footballer than being a Marine. In all honesty, because it's less than 1% if you work it out.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, what we touched briefly on boxing. He's your son's a boxing champion in the Marines.
Yeah,
I mean, to be a Marine is pretty tough. But to be a boxing champion in the Marines.
Well, last year he was the United Kingdom Royal Navy middleweight champion, and then he ended up boxing against all the armed forces, so the Navy, the Army, the RAF, and he ended up being the United Kingdom middleweight armed forces champion of 2023, and he captained the elite team. He recently went over to Fiji this year just to train and box the Fiji team. But since then he's come back, he's decided he's going to hang up his gloves because he's been boxing for probably 18 years.
Has he really?
With a little bit of a gap in between, yeah.
Okay.
And he's going to try and get promotion now instead of being a bit of a jack the lad, because he wants to be a PTI instructor now. He's with the mortar team at the moment. The ones what fire the small mortars. He's in a team of 4 there. He's in charge of those, his little team. And now he's going to try and train for a PTI. But to be a PTI, you've got to go for the next level up. So he needs to be a Lance Corporal before he succeeds
Time
in
to
that.
grow up.
Yeah. I mean, he's ultra fit,
We've got to be on that sort of level.
Of course you have.
Now, does that make you feel proud?
Makes me feel very proud.
Yeah.
He's a very, very humble kid, and he hates me talking about it. So if he ever sees this, he'll probably say, "Dad, what are you doing?"
No, it's good to give someone. I've always said credit where it's due, and someone who's achieved that sort of level of achievement, not only in the Marines but
in any industry, Paul. Yeah.
Whether you're here, there, or up there, to achieve any sort of level of achievement is where your commitment is coming, and your level of professionalism.
Exactly. I like to see success. I like to see successful people, you know. I like to, especially the people who started with nothing and made their way up to something. I mean, obviously, you know, you get the people who are doing well for themselves, but some of them have been born with a silver spoon in their mouth, haven't they?
You've been gifted it.
Yeah.
You know,
If you've worked hard for it, you know, fair play to them people.
I mean, much like us, you, me, we've all come from the bottom and worked our way up to a certain level of success. Both in different ways, but still end up at the same level. And like with Paul and Michael, we've all faced adversities in their life to get to where we need to get to. But what I like about, I mean, there's a few really. There's Luke, there's MPG, there's Lucas Extras, and the reason I mention these is because they've come from the SA background. So I like to think, whether it's truth or not, but I like to think that gives you guys a bit more of an edge, a bit more of a attractive edge to join.
Yeah, because we've been there, we've sort of seen it and done it, haven't we? Wore the T-shirt. Like a few others, you know, like a few other agencies as well. You know, some people started as an SA or.
I mean, Ian Robert Wilkie has done the same thing up in Scotland.
Correct, yeah, and he's doing very, very well.
He is, yeah.
It's also like...
but he's much like you. He's got the credentials behind him and the certifications say this guy's sound. You know, he is what he says he is. Mm-hmm. And he's got no hidden agendas. He isn't... bless you. He hasn't got any... real flaws that are going to hold you back, or you know.
But it's, like you say, it's a little bit like Lucas Extras. I mean, Tony's been an assistant director, hasn't he? So he's sort of, he knows the game, and I'm not sure if his wife was in production previously.
I'm not sure, but she was involved in, I think, in TV and film. Casting Tree. So I've never done anything with them.
But
I didn't even know that existed till last week.
Mark, who runs Casting Tree, well, his partner's an actress.
Okay, it makes sense, really.
Yeah,
same as you got, you know, same as yourself. You've done some high-profile acting, and I think the next step for you was to become an agent. You know, like you say, you was touring for the idea for a few years.
Yeah, well, it helps you take the foot off the gas a bit. You're not chasing your tail all the time. You're not getting up at silly o'clock in the morning. You're not jumping behind that wheel, and let's face it, there's some nutters on that road nowadays, isn't there?
mkcypher Films is an independent production company based in Enfield, London, UK. We produce documentaries, short feature films, social media videos, and provide photography studio space for weddings, christenings, and corporate videos.
Well, there's lunatics, whether you're on the road or off the road, that seem to be walking amongst us at the moment.
Yeah.
But what I like about you is that you've done the miles, hundreds and thousands of miles, and now you've got the motorhome where you can sort of take your foot off the gas and enjoy the fruits of life now, really.
I've always said, you know, I'll help anybody, Paul, in the industry. And I'm not saying I know everything, because I don't. I probably know as much as most others do, but, you know, we learn every day, don't we? And I'll always listen to everybody, and sometimes I'll pick something up what I didn't know, you know. But anything I know, I will help them and, you know, help them along the way. If I don't know the answer, I'll either go and try and find it out for them, or just say, oh, I'll hold my hands up. I don't know the answer to that, so I don't want to comment. But
have you got any advice for the SAs that are looking to get an edge over the next SA next to them, or anything to do with being proactive? Because that was a big thing that you were doing.
Yeah, I think
behind the scenes.
Yeah. You've just got to remember, you're all equal on set. You're not better than anybody else. So there's nothing you can really do to, other than be professional, listen to your instructions, always be there, ready when they want you to be ready. I was always proactive. So if I had, say, 15 agents, I was on 15 agencies' books. What I would do is, if I hadn't heard from, say, 2 or 3 of them for 2 or 3 weeks, I'd just drop them a polite email and say, you know, hi, just let you know I'm available for this, this, and this. Please consider me for anything you think I may be suitable for. Then it just gets you in their mind then a little bit more, at the back of their mind.
Out of mind, out of sight, normally,
exactly,
isn't
exactly.
It? And then as life carries on, you get further and further down the fucking list. And then
You
the further
do.
down the list you get, the more out of mind you are.
You
So
do. You
that's fair point, to
you
be
get
honest.
forgotten. Yeah.
And there was another thing. I had a message yesterday. I was out shopping. Someone asked my advice. Now, I thought it was a bit weird, to be honest. I'm not going to say, I don't say any names, but she was offered a acting role.
Right. Okay.
Bear in mind, she got no agent. She's not on Spotlight. It was offered to her on Facebook.
Right.
Right, so there's many red flags. It's a film to be released in 2026. They said I should sign a NDA before they can tell me any further details, which, fair enough. And they agreed to a chaperone as well. That was my first. I mean, anyone could be a fucking chaperone. Anyone could say they're a chaperone. But you need to do your homework on who these people are. Anyone could be a chaperone.
Yeah.
I could give you someone. Yeah, he's a chaperone. Don't worry about that. It could be anybody. And it was a casting site on Facebook. She wasn't offered an audition, which doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
And she has no agent. Now, this was a genuine inquiry of a genuine person. I was shopping yesterday. Now, if she hadn't had me on a list as a go-to person for information, she would have probably gone to this casting audition, signed this NDA, and it was abroad. So she would have probably come abroad and never come back. Now, the reason I say that to you is because you're always there helping people. You were there to advise me. What advice would you give to not only women out there, but guys as well? Because we're all going to be in a vulnerable situation as we want to be famous. And if someone's offering you that chance, no matter how far out it's going to seem to you or anyone else not really experienced, they'll probably believe it.
Red flag straight away for that, Paul. It could be, you just don't know. It could be anybody. It could be
Exactly
a
what
pervert.
I thought.
You just don't know,
no.
especially when it's a lady. You just...
Well, it's not only pervert. I mean, it could be human trafficking. It could
be anything.
It could be anything.
You don't... How can somebody offer you a job when they don't know what you're capable of
With
doing?
all due respect, if they don't know who you are,
And they don't know what you look like.
you've had no audition.
It doesn't
make any
just
sense.
use your common sense,
Yeah.
guys. Just use your common sense.
Yeah.
It's not them things. Just you've got to ignore. It's
I did want to raise that with you because obviously your background, your expertise in background work, your expertise in how the industry works, and obviously your background knowledge now of becoming an agent to these people, because obviously there's still people coming into the industry thinking that this shit happens, and it doesn't.
No,
it doesn't happen like
people
that.
try it on. You see, they want money up front. They'll take photos for you and promise you the earth. You'll pay £150 up front for the photos, and then you'll probably not hear from them again. You know.
So any reputable companies won't do that, will they?
They won't. No. Any reputable company, you'll see them on. Best thing to do is Google them on Companies House. All the companies will be on
That's
there.
why I just told her to do a background checks on
background check.
with the production company, especially if it's going abroad, where you're staying, who the agent is, who's the director, why haven't I got an audition? How come you found me and I've not got an agent?
Yeah.
How come you're only casting on Facebook? There's 7 red flags.
Yeah, they just look for vulnerable people,
Yeah.
really, aren't they?
They are really,
And it's
which I
not-
think's a shame because everyone's got a dream, everyone's got aspirations, and when you're not surrounding yourself with the right people that are telling you the right things, and then you do fall for scams like that, it's ultimately going to just either going to get you into real serious danger, or
Just be
the
careful,
ultimate-
guys. Everybody's after your money. Everybody. You shouldn't really have to pay upfront fees if you want to be in.
Really, there's 2 things that you should pay up front for, and that's headshots and maybe a show reel.
Yeah, but you don't normally pay upfront for that with an SA agency or an acting agency, do you? Yes, you might have to have professional photos. A lot of companies now don't ask for.
Really?
Yeah, they don't want professional photos. A lot of ADs don't want professional photos. They want natural, as you are
Selfies,
photos nowadays. Yeah,
Mad that is, isn't it?
it is. It is. So you spend like what 150 quid for headshots.
Easy, yeah.
And all they want is like a selfie, a natural selfie off you. It's crazy. Yeah.
So what's the plan for Mr. Grant and moving forward?
Hopefully, obviously, keep running the agency, improve it best we can, keep doing what we're doing really, but keep knocking on doors.
I mean, I can vouch for MPG, Grant, Paul, and Michael. They have been good friends of mine. They've helped me and advised me certain places along the way. But also, as a group, as collectively, these guys will answer near enough any questions that you've got, whether it's to do with pay, whether it's to do with getting walk-on roles or featured roles or buyout clauses or anything like that. But most of all, they're going to be an agency that will get you work, that'll get you experience, that'll get you availability requests. And because they are coming from the SA world, which is where 90% of us are coming from, they've probably answered your questions many times over. So you're in capable hands of MPG. And yeah, I think you need to get me on set a lot more than what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I've got the Polar Express coming up.
I was just going to bring that
a live show.
play. You beat me to it.
So yeah, I've got a 5-week stint on that.
So let's tell the guests about.
Yeah,
the
it's
Polar
like
Express.
if you've ever seen the Polar Express, the animated film, we bring that to life on a real steam train. All the passengers, the kids, and the families get dressed up in the pajamas, and they go to the North Pole to see Santa.
Well, I thought it was brilliant. I did 2 jobs on it, and then got into a massive argument and got thrown off the train. So, but that's a whole different podcast in itself. We won't get into that.
That's unlike you, Paul. I mean,
we won't get into that on this show.
Yeah.
But I can say it is.
It is a great
without me on
show.
the train, it's an enjoyable experience. It's fantastic for the kids, and you'll also get the pleasure of seeing Mr. Grant's Father Christmas superstar.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ superstar.
Yeah.
We've got Father Christmas.
Yeah. We have all the actors. I mean, they come from all around the UK, Shetland Islands, London, Brighton. You know, we've got them from
Shetland.
Yeah, we had.
Are you kidding me?
We had 2
No.
cast from Shetland Islands last year. Yeah.
And where is it based?
It's in Staffordshire, Leek, Churnet Valley.
Leek.
And it's got some raving
Where's Leek?
reviews.
Is that Stoke? Is it Stoke, Stafford?
Yeah, just south of Stoke. Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah.
Stoke-on-Trent. Yeah.
And your agency's been doing a bit of casting for the Polar Express as well, haven't
Yeah,
you?
we've put a call out because I think
Is there any more available spaces?
I think we've filled them all now, so
Too late.
that'll be a little bit more work for us, you know.
Well, it is, and it's obviously something for you to get your teeth stuck into and see the year out with a bang.
Well, it's like double bubble, isn't it? You know.
But it is for you.
Yeah, you have to think. Well, if they've got a few people,
Think
short,
smarter, not work
exactly.
harder.
Oh yeah, well we can supply them.
Yeah.
MPG casting can supply them. Let's
Did you get
do
much
it.
interest in the? I'm not doing the Santa.
Oh
stuff,
yes, yeah, we got plenty of interest.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a great little number. It's a good job.
It is. Yeah.
It pays very, very well, and we get put up in. We do have to pay a little bit towards £20 a night, I think, but we're all in the cast who travel a long way, stop in some barn conversion cottages. So it's a nice little family, you know. It's a
I
nice
remember
little
I remember the stint I did, and there was a child that wasn't. I think I told you that wasn't very well, and he asked for a new body. Oh mate, fuck me. Honestly, mate, I could have just broke down in tears. I could have done.
You do get. I mean, you'll get a lot of nice stories.
It was them eyes, and
Yeah.
wow, I was just, of all things to be asked, and obviously they start playing the Polar Express music, and mate, I had to really hold in the waterworks on that one.
I think. I got told off. She must have been no more than 3, a young girl, and she said, "Hello, Santa. My brother's just died." And you think, well, I don't want to ignore what you've said, lovely, but I'm going to divert it. So I'll say, I'm really sorry to hear that. What would you like of Santa for Christmas? So I acknowledged it, but I didn't want to, you know.
Yeah, honestly, mate, hats off to you, because that broke my heart into bits.
Yeah, it is tough.
But for him to say, like, he wants something, he wants a new health, a new body, whatever it was.
Yeah.
fuck me, I nearly broke down in tears.
Yeah, it can be hard. It can be hard.
So, but it's little aspects like that people do this Santa work and don't really think about until
That's right.
you ask the question.
Yeah,
And then boom, it's like waterworks.
yeah.
Well, Grant, it's been an amazing podcast. It's been very interesting to see what goes on beyond the scenes of an agency, and I hope the rest of this year and the years to come are a success.
Yeah, thank you very much.
God bless, man.
Thank you for having me, and it's a great little studio.
Thanks,
And good luck for the future.
Mr. Grant.
Take care, Mr. Paul.
Done.
Cypher Films is an independent production company based in Enfield, London, UK. We produce documentaries, short feature films, social media videos, and provide photography studio space for weddings, christenings, and corporate videos.